Well, hello, all you gorgeous creatures. Welcome to Friday Solo Date Night. If you're alone or with a partner or a friend, welcome. I hope you have your favorite beverage. Why not? Let's relax a little bit. I have a very, very weak martini. I'm trying to cut back a little bit. All right, if you're in, do say hello. Let me know where you're from. I'm broadcasting here from my home in the beautiful Pocono Mountains, where it was about 3 million degrees today. And the humidity is unbelievable. My hair has just been like, it sports a new zip code every day. Every day it kind of changes a little bit. Anyhow, my name is Rena Vallon. If you're new, welcome. I am a pioneer in the romance home party industry. For over 30 years, I operated my company, which was called Fantasia Home Parties. And oh, I've been in the direct sales industry probably over 45 years. I just stopped counting. Anyhow, my story is over the past 6, 7 years, I've taken control of my health. And I lost about 70, 75 pounds, completely changed my life. And it's kind of my mission now to share my stories, besides my business stories, my life stories, and how you can do it too. So, all right. But tonight, you know what we're going to talk about tonight? Friday nights usually can be anything. If you're on, do type in a question. If you're in after hours, type in the question anyhow. I'll answer. Tonight, I want to talk about something really important, stuff. How many of you remember, what's his name? Carl, what's his name? And he did a whole soliloquy, not a soliloquy, he did a whole routine on stuff. George Carlin. You remember that? George Carlin on stuff. And I'll tell you, he was absolutely on target with that. Stuff is like so great when you are, getting on with your life. You start to accumulate things, and it's great. The cars, the clothes, things, the house, the watches, the rings, all that stuff. And I'll tell you, get to a point, especially as you get a little bit more seasoned, as I call it, and this stuff kind of just gets in the way. It does. Stuff becomes things like they almost take a life of their own. You know what happens when things take a life of their own? You got to take care of that too. Yeah. Who wants to take care of stuff? No one. You have this stuff because it's fun. It's fun to have stuff. But just like a human being or a pet, plant, something growing, you have to take care of your stuff. And after a while, I'll tell you, it gets old. All right. And when you get up there in ages, taking care of all this junk, you start to wonder, why is this all around me? If you're wondering where I'm going with this, I do have a point. Okay, let me make sure there's nobody in the chat. And all right, here we go. All right. So the reason why I'm talking about stuff is I don't even want to say retired because I'll never retire. And that's a subject of another story. But about, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago, I sold my huge, huge house that I was in for over, I don't know, about 25 years. Are you in a place now that you've been there a very long time? You know what happens when you're at a place for a very long time? You get all this stuff. That's right. You acquire and you start just storing this stuff. The bigger the place, the more places you have to hold your stuff, the more stuff you get. And then when it's time maybe for you to make a change in your life, and whether, I don't want to even say retiring, maybe you're going to downsize a little bit or move. You know what happens? It becomes this big ordeal. And then all those efforts and the money that you put into your stuff, that could go right out the window because you get to be in a rushed state, right? Okay, let me just share this. Let me get the copy link. Okay. Wow, YouTube doesn't like posting. Not YouTube, Facebook. Wow, they will not populate my posts. So I'm going to discard that. Wow. Well, it is a competitor. So here's what I think about those years that are coming, or maybe you're there now. But let's say you're 50 and up, okay? Let's just say you're 50 and up. Do you know that now is the time to start thinking about that? And thinking about what? Thinking about downsizing your stuff, getting rid of it, cleaning it out, giving it away, selling it, or throwing it out. That's right. And it does. Ideally, it would take about 5 to 10 years. I made the mistake of waiting to the last minute because I had so much stuff. I had my stuff, I had my kids' stuff, I had my boyfriend's stuff, I had my previous husband's stuff. I had everybody's stuff. My house was so big, I was just like, sure, you can leave your stuff here. So when it came to moving, it was a big ordeal. And you know what else? Here's what the real good point is. I'm sure some of your stuff has some value to it, right? Some things. For us women, like, well, those collectibles, precious moments. Remember those? Yadro. How many sets of china? Guys, how many tools do you have? Huh? I had a whole tool room in my basement. My former husband was a tool and die maker. He had every gadget in the world, right? I wouldn't have known I wouldn't have known a hammer from, oh, wait, that's not true. I know what a ball peen hammer is. But seriously, what happens is if you do not have a plan, kind of a little bit tack on your stuff, you know what happens? It becomes totally invaluable. You don't want that. You don't want to be rushed. You want to get something back. Sure, throwing out, that's easy. But you'd be surprised. You probably have some value, especially collectibles or things that you haven't used. And by allowing yourself a little time, to go through it, it gives you the chance to recoup some of that, and you're not in a crisis, rushed situation. I am with someone, I am with someone who, he kind of works on the crisis mode. Things have to become a crisis before he parts with them. Now, I don't want to denigrate him or anything, but I bet you're like that. I bet some of your stuff, God forbid somebody should touch, or could you ever think about, getting rid of it or parting with it? Well, you know what? Guess what? Start thinking about it. And if you have those feelings, that's part of the process too. It's the process of detachment. It's almost like detaching from a partner or getting ready for a divorce or getting ready to break up with someone. It takes a little time. You kind of have to work yourself up to it. And it's the same with these things. Because someday, and that someday is going to come sooner than you think. Trust me on that. You're going to say, do I really need all this? Or you might have to downsize a little bit, especially if you're by yourself or just one other person. Maybe your kids aren't there anymore. What are you going to do with it? Where is it to put? That means you have to take care of it. All right. So if you leave with anything today, I want you to start thinking about your stuff and what can you do with it? Not do with it, but start thinking about, can I live without this? Wouldn't it be nice? I wouldn't have to dust it or worry about it or worry that it breaks or rusts or that we have water leak on it. Boy, I know about those. Or any of that stuff. It's so nice to be free of having to take care of things. So start with that. Start with making a list. You can even do it by room. Actually, that's a really good way to start, is by room. So it's not overwhelming. Just say, I'll do the back closet or the storeroom downstairs, even the garage. I don't know where all your stuff is. Mine was all over the place. So start with one place and just focus there. My friend had a great system. She had 4 boxes. That's right. She just put 4 boxes on the floor. One was save. You can't part with it. One was sell. One was trash. And one was giveaway. That way, you don't have to pack it. You don't have to make other decisions. You just start sorting. Start sorting. Maybe your pile of keep, the big, maybe you might have to get more boxes for that. But then you can come back to it maybe in a few weeks or a few months. And then maybe by that time, your brain might be working on and say, I don't know. Do I really need all those figurines? All those little shoes. I had all these miniature shoes. Why was I collecting these? I don't get it. I still have those shoes, by the way. It takes time to sell these things, or especially if you want to sell and get some money back for it. And there's lots of ways. You do your garage sales. You can do. I'll tell you one of the best ways that I just found out was consignment. Yeah, one of my relatives has they actually have a couple of booths at a really nice vintage, like a vintage antique indoor market. And I gave her a whole bunch of my stuff because I waited till the last minute to try to move any of this. So I just packed it all up. But now I have it to her, and she takes a percentage. Places like consignment shops can take anywhere, depending on how, what the ticket, what the retail is on it, anywhere from 20 to 40%. And that's a good deal because you don't have to deal with it. They deal with it. They do that. And their profit for their efforts and showing and advertising or whatever is that the 20 to 40%, and it's worth it. So that might be something you might want to think about, especially for something that might be a little bit more expensive or you don't want to part with it unless you get a few bucks for it. That's a perfect way to do it. So maybe you start with sorting, at least thinking about it, and then sourcing and see if you can find somebody in your neighborhood, somebody close by or relatively close by that you can drive to, or they come over and pick up your stuff and have it on consignment. I tried the eBay thing. You ever try that? How many of you have tried eBay? Let me know. eBay's okay. There's some weird people there. There's no weird people here, of course. But eBay, a lot of times people would claim things, then never paid for it. They took such a big chunk, or it seemed that way to me. It was a pain in the ass. I really hate eBay. I haven't really been back on in a long time. I'd rather do Facebook Marketplace. Have you ever done that? I actually have quite a few items on there. If anybody's looking for Murano egg shake, Murano big egg globe lamps, I got 2 for you. Let me know if you want a picture. But, Facebook Marketplace is pretty good. I mean, other than, of course, the usual garage sales and all that and house sales, and you can do that also. But start now. Start now. If you are going to move, you're going to downsize, you're going to retire within 10 years. Trust me, it takes that long. Start now. Okay, so you're not desperate, you're not giving it away, so wind up making these really, dumb mistakes like I did. I've made every mistake. It really seemed that way. It's and that's what, when I make a mistake, you know what I would say to myself? Okay, I was practicing. I'm just practicing. Or you know what? I got to tell somebody about this, and it makes me feel better, for being a dumbass. Okay, let me tell you how not to be a dumbass. Okay, you're gonna try some of that stuff out. I'm gonna be doing another little video on this, probably with a step-by-step thing or just some illustrations in there so I can break it up a little bit. But the big message today, I'm serious, and this is a really good message for you or anybody in your family or friends, please start 10 years before. You can't wait till the last minute to deal with your stuff. Because if it was just the item, that's easy. That's a yes or no answer. But it's not. Most of these things, like pictures and memories and, your first prom dress and those pressed flowers and all that, those are all things that are just emotional ties to us. So give it some thought. You can replace those things with digital representations of them too. You could just take pictures of them and you have a little book that way. But you can't carry all this stuff on your back your whole life. I'll tell you, when I left my big giant house and I had pared down a lot, I mean, I had to call in, these haulers, these trash haulers. Well, boy, they got quite the bounty because a lot of things I don't want to, just deal with. I'm like, just take it. And I know they sold it and all. But here in my new home, I don't know. I just feel like I'm more in control, and I just don't feel so encumbered. A little bit freer. I don't have to worry about things. That worry of things happening to my stuff. I didn't realize how big of a deal that stuff does to your stuff. All right, let me check the chat. Listen, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. I really appreciate it, okay? It helps me a lot. All you have to do at the bottom or at the All right, I'm back. We went down. I wonder if this works. It'd be great. There I am. Our internet is so flaky here. And we had a terrible thunderstorm before. Almost looked like a tornado had gone through. So, all right, thanks for hanging with me. All right, so back to stuff and things like that. Now, there are some other things to get rid of. And I'm back. Not that anyone's listening, but I'm here and I'm listening. So it's good to know this program that I have looks like it keeps the connection alive, even though you don't have internet, which is totally amazing. I didn't know that. So that's pretty cool. Anyhow, so we'll just save that for another day, another time. I also think I probably have to do this later. I think 8 o'clock is too early for a Friday night, solo date, right? Unfortunately, I'm usually in bed by that time. I'm telling you all my deep, dark secrets. But yeah, it's terrible. My problem is I start waking up at 4 p.m. I do. It's like my brain is on fire and I have to get up and I make coffee. I have a cup and then I go back for a nap. The problem is by 3 or 4 o'clock, I am dragging. How about you? Are you like that? One of these days I'll fix it, right? Okay. All right. Listen, that is it for now. I'll see you next week. Okay. I think I'm going to change it to 9 o'clock. Do you think I should change it to 9 p.m. Eastern? It should probably be even later, right? For people that are in bed. Okay. That's it for now. Thank you for hanging with me. And remember, do subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you on the web. Bye bye.